Matthew Game Theory Patrick, aged 16, was on the train to his new school in Tokyo, Japan. His father, Fred Phelps, recently kicked him out for being a faggot and doing fruity things such as musicals. This meant Matt Pat had to leave the United States and head for Japland, as it was the only hope for him and his dream of meeting his hero, Gaijin Goomba. Matt Pat didn't fit in back home, so he hoped maybe here he would find some solace. Matt Pat sat alone on the train. He decided to listen to some music to make the trip more bearable. Matt Pat put on his Beats by Drew and listened to the new Merzbow album. It was good shit. All of a sudden, he saw 4 girls boarded the carriage. They all were off the inferior oriental hygiene, but damn did he want to tap their asses. He felt his theory rod harden in his skinny jeans. He had to press down on it to stop it from growing more. At that moment, Matt Pat knew that his new life in Japan was going to be good. Matt Pat arrives at the high school and goes to Calculus 5 because he's really smart and takes his seat. One of the girls he saw earlier on the train entered the class. Theory rod hardens for a second time. To his surprise, this girl sits down next to him. Theory rod became harder once again. This girl was beautiful. She had long pink hair, purple eyes and fair skin with a pink tone. "Hey," Matt Pat said, like a faggot. "Hello," replied the girl. Theory rod was nearly at maximum wee power, however Matt Pat was about to calm it down with a dose of natural and healthy Gray's snack box, which you can use code GTHEORY to get a free sample and then 50% off your first purchase. I'm Matthew Patrick, but you can call me Matt Pat if you want. Matt Pat nervously giggled. "I'm Miyuki Takara," Miyuki replied. Matt Pat glared at her and then panned down to her thick teen breasts. Theory rod couldn't take it anymore. Matt Pat rushed up and ran to the janitorial closet and released the theory rod and all its might. Matt Pat used anything he could find near him as lubrication and began to fap like crazy. Matt Pat heard footsteps, but that didn't stop him. He went faster and faster until he released his theory serum all over the closet. It all went silent until the door opened. Miyuki was there, staring down at Matt Pat with his theory rod exposed. "Did I do something wrong?" Miyuki asked. Matt Pat was lost for words. All he wanted to do was fuck that puss. Matt Pat pinned Miyuki down and pressed theory rod against her panties. Even though Matt Pat may have only been in beta and still under development, but his theory rod and spheres were still of sizable girth. Matt Pat ripped off her tights to reveal her leg. He slapped his theory rod on her thighs as it growed. The theory rod finally grew to its maximum size, 1 foot long. "Why are you doing this?" Miyuki cried. "Shut up, whore, and give me that tight puss." And as Matt Pat screamed in reply. He then began pounding her, his long hard dick too much for her small body. "Please stop, Matthew," she cried, but it was no use. Tears began to form in her eyes, but then she felt something. A bassy vibration was coming from her vagina. This became louder and louder until it was recognizable. It was the game theory intro. Matt Pat grunted more and more and made Traria male _hurt sounds as he devastated that puss. The vibrations of the intro started to feel pleasurable for Miyuki as she began to make Traria female _hurt sounds. The pounding became faster. Both Matt Pat and Miyuki were screaming with pleasure. Then suddenly Matt Pat shouted,
"Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory,"
and released theory serum into Miyuki. He stood up, leaving Miyuki laying on the ground, covered in theories and shaking. Matt Pat then came out of the closet.